Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. After 2 days of discussions on the reinforcement of the African pharmaceutical sovereignty, the African Ministerial Conference on Local Drug Production and Health Technologies concluded before the adoption of Algeria's declaration and the signing of several accords. Pharmaceutical industry, a growing dynamic reflected by the increase of investments as Algeria produces various treatments and aims at achieving health security. The 49th edition of UCOCO starts in Paris with a press conference that gathered European political executives and international law defenders to recall the international community on the latest Security Council resolution and denounce the interpretations aiming at legitimizing the Moroccan occupation. Welcome back. The General Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Lounes Magraman, co-chaired at the Chilean capital Santiago with the Vice Minister of Foreign Relations, Gloria de la Fuente, the 6th session of the Algerian-Chilean political consultations. Two parties discussed the bilateral relations and ways to reinforce them, particularly in the economic sector. They also discussed regional and international issues of common interest, notably the situation in Palestine and Western Sahara, as well as environment and the reform of the United Nations. Experts gathered in Algiers for a 2-day conference on local drug production, adopting the Algiers Declaration to boost Africa's pharmaceutical industry, reduce imports, and improve access to essential medicines by 2030-2035. Coverage by Walid Yousfi, taken up by Melissa Dila Balaman.
The gathering brought together experts and representatives from international organizations for a high-level strategic meeting. Discussions centered on creating a pharmaceutical industry that can meet Africa's needs while reducing dependence on imports. By the close of the 2-day event, participants had endorsed the Algiers Declaration.
Réaffirmons les aspirations de l'agenda 2063.
Let us reaffirm the aspirations of the Agenda 2063 of the African Union, in particular its objectives aimed at strengthening health systems and guaranteeing access to health and nutrition to accelerate industrial transformation thanks to the added value of science, technology and innovation to increase intra-African trade and economic integration.
Intra-africain et l'intégration économique.
This convention is a milestone. By 2030-2035, it will enable a level of self-sufficiency in both pharmaceuticals and health technologies. We call on all African nations to take part in this effort.
Over the course of 2 days, attendees developed a shared roadmap focused on boosting industrial capabilities, fostering partnerships, and expanding access to essential medicines across the continent.
What needs to be kept in mind is the will and capacity of Algeria to gather all African states in one place for 2 days to reflect on the problem of access to drugs in Africa and the discussions, the exchanges, the panels, and the ministerial conferences that have been organized have allowed today to federate, let's say, the common will of African states to move forward in the development of the pharmaceutical industry.
Commune des États africains d'aller de l'avant en matière de développement de l'industrie pharmaceutique.
The African Ministerial Conference on Local Drug Production thus represents a key step toward continental collaboration, laying the foundation for a sovereign and sustainable African pharmaceutical industry.
A new generation of Algerian pharmaceutical companies is driving industrial innovation and exports ambition, positioning Algeria as a competitive regional supplier of advanced medical products. Basma Fall.
Algeria's pharmaceutical industry continues to expand its presence through innovative medical production, new manufacturing lines, and a diversified portfolio of pharmaceutical products, all produced according to global manufacturing standards, especially regarding treatments for modern chronic diseases.
We now have 3 factories in Steve, 2 already producing medication, and the 3rd, opened this year, manufactures glass ampoules, the first production of its kind in all of Algeria. We have already dispatched export shipments to Yemen, and we work with economic partners in 3 countries, notably Mauritania, Libya and Senegal.
3 دول منهم موريتانيا، ليبيا والسنغال.
We specialize in the manufacturing of adhesive medical dressings, and our latest registered product is the transport dressing, which will make the clinical workflow easier for both nurses and doctors.
These leading pharmaceutical companies focus on achieving self-sufficiency, strengthening clinical research laboratories, diversifying products to boost competitiveness, and creating international partnership with research and distribution institutions.
We operate in the production and development of medical reagents and equipment. We have exported to 3 countries, including Chad, Mauritania, and Tunisia, and we aspire to expand into the African market. The company is owned by more than 480 pharmacists and was established through a cooperative investment model. We operate in medicine distribution and manufacturing, and these medical solutions are produced in our facility with European and American standards, enabling us to begin exports.
The pharmaceutical sector in Algeria today stands as a genuine driver for the national economy, aligned with the government's strategy to develop a competitive local industry rooted in expertise and long-term strategic vision.
With over 270 medicines produced, including cancer treatments, this facility combines advanced technology and strict quality control to supply the nation while meeting international standards. Melissa de la Balaman.
Over the years, this factory has become a hub for producing more than 270 different medicines, marking a journey of major achievements and opening new horizons. A highlight of this progress has been the establishment of a state-of-the-art unit dedicated to manufacturing anti-cancer drugs. We make medicines for chronic illnesses. With an annual production of 100 million boxes, we are able to supply medications nationwide, covering every province. This production unit is outfitted with advanced machinery and equipment that handle every stage of manufacturing, from receiving raw materials, which are first rigorously tested in our quality labs, to weighing them and carrying out all steps of production. Every product undergoes multiple layers of meticulous monitoring and regular testing, ensuring that the medicines meet international quality standards. Our laboratory conducts thorough analysis of all raw materials to guarantee a high-quality final product. We also have a dedicated department focused on drug development with all necessary equipment and skilled personnel fully allocated for the task. In recent years, strong government support for the pharmaceutical sector has given a significant boost to this critical industry, seen as essential both for safeguarding public health and for diversifying state revenue.
With the aim of boosting Algerian-Tunisian bilateral cooperation in maritime surveillance, the commander of the Naval Forces, Major General Mahfoud Ben Meddah, supervised the inspection ceremony of the corvette Rais Hassan Barbiar No. 807 in the Algiers naval base. Melissa Kabesh with the details.
As part of implementing the 2025 Algerian-Tunisian bilateral military cooperation activities, the commander of the naval forces, Major General Mahfoud Ben Meddah, oversaw the missile launching corvette Rais Hassan Barbiar, hull number 807, at the Algiers naval base in the 1st military region, ahead of its departure to take part in the joint naval exercise Nordjan 2025, organized by the Algerian Naval Forces Command in partnership with the Tunisian Navy from the 2nd to the 8th December 2025 in the northern maritime zone of Tunisia. The exercise aims to strengthen joint operational cooperation in the fields of maritime surveillance and security, the monitoring of maritime borders, and the enhancement of bilateral coordination in combating illicit activities at sea. It also seeks to develop the capabilities of personnel and units through the execution of tactical maneuvers, including maritime interdiction operations in search and rescue exercises. This exercise is also an opportunity to exchange expertise and coordinate joint efforts in combating non-conventional threats at sea. Through this activity, the naval forces reaffirm their continued determination to consolidate bilateral cooperation with neighboring partners and to develop the operational capabilities of their units, with a view to strengthening security within the maritime space of both countries.
The Central Unit for Combating Organized Crime dismantled the criminal network specialized in seaway migrants and drug trafficking during an important sea operation. This 47-member network used boats equipped with powerful engines and modern communication material to illegally transport migrants. The income was concealed through shell companies selling and renting luxury cars. After more than 6 months of investigation, 36 members of this network have been arrested. 7 others are still on the run, while 4 others have already been arrested for similar facts. During this operation, 4 boats, 22 luxury cars, 2 motorbikes, 1 pistol with ammunition, and an important amount of money in dinar and foreign currencies have been seized. After being questioned, the suspects were presented before the Specialized Penal Center of Sidi Mohammed in Algiers before being in pre-trial detention. They gathered in Paris as voices from across Europe, marking a moment that pushes the Sahrawi cause from a regional issue to European legal and moral challenge. Basma Far with details.
They came from across Europe, members of parliament, jurists, trade unionists and association leaders with one goal: show their full support to the Sahrawi people's just cause. Sahrawi Prime Minister indicated during his speech delivered at the heart of the French capital, known for being Morocco's oldest and most persistent diplomatic backer, the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination.
The Sahrawi people remain the only legitimate holders of the right to decide their own future. The confusion created after the UN resolution does not recognize Moroccan sovereignty, nor does it validate the autonomy plan as the sole solution. Only a path grounded in international law can lead to a just and lasting peace, keeping the door open to genuine negotiations.
In a world where values are shaken, this press conference reaffirms a vital anchor: international law as compass, European legality as safeguard, humanitarian and judicial rights as the last barrier against the logic of power.
The struggle we are leading today is a struggle alongside the Sahrawi people, just as we stand with the Palestinian people and all peoples under colonial domination. Our aim is to defend a vision of international relations, of international law and humanitarian rights, and to preserve these principles in a global situation that has become a storm, triggered by US President Trump and followed by Europe. We have a duty to respond and to respond clearly. We're seeing unions increasingly take a stand for Western Sahara because they understand this is part of the same problem that destabilizes their own societies. New alliances are emerging as a result.
Now that the legal battle is affecting the economy, French and European farmers are among the first victims of illegal agreements integrating products from the occupied Western Sahara. Just this week in Perpignan, farmers' unions firmly refused the unfair competition regarding imported goods entering the European market without complying with standards and in violation of European court rulings.
As farmers' confederations, we stand for solidarity between peoples, and we believe trade can thrive without relying on exploitative agreements.
In Brussels as well, several members of the European Parliament are raising their voices.
All these repeated and blatant violations since the ruling of October 2024 have sparked widespread dissent. A new majority has emerged, as shown in the vote 2 days ago. Let us recall that when the 2019 agreement was adopted, the Agriculture Committee endorsed the November 2018 deal by an overwhelming majority, and the European Parliament approved it with 444 votes. Today we are witnessing the exact opposite, a majority opposing the Commission's approach with 359 votes, practically overturning the labelling rule. And I believe that even the revised agreement further complicates the ability of agricultural unions to continue selling their products in Europe.
This inaugural morning sets the tone for 2 days of intellectual confrontation, relentless legal argumentation, demonstration of negative economic effects for France and for Europe, and a direct challenge to the French political choices. From Paris, one certainty is emerging. International law is no longer solely a Sahrawi cause. It is becoming a European issue.
And the works were pursued at the level of the French National Assembly, a symbolic place where parliamentarians, diplomats and lawyers gathered around two round tables to discuss the plundering of the natural resources of Western Sahara and the responsibility of the United Nations, France and Spain in the decolonization process. A delegation of Algerian and Spanish parliamentarians was present. And with this, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.